Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, where we are in the world. It's all jiu-jitsu. It's 2024. Happy New Year to everybody. Firstly, apologies. I've been very, very busy. But I'm looking at doing one or two a week now, guys. So we're back. So before I introduce my next guest, I want to just plug some events what are coming in 2024. I'm working on the Japanese martial arts show. You lucky people who went a couple of years ago, you will know how good that was. It was a complete sellout, 400 on the mat, all different types of Japanese martial arts. We're looking at doing that again towards the end of April. And as you know, you should know by now, I'm very jiu-jitsu. You cut my wrist, I'll bleed jiu-jitsu. So what? Lucci, why are you doing just a jiu-jitsu seminar? Well, here we are, guys. The very first UK jiu-jitsu gathering coming very soon. Right, I don't want to waste no more time. My first guest of 2024. Been watching this guy for a long time. He's got a great reputation. He's from Hastings. He won a great event last year. I want to touch base on it, but I want to get straight into it. And he can introduce himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Clive Turner, fifth Dan, I believe, jiu-jitsu. Brilliant martial artist. Clive, welcome. Thank you for agreeing to come in onto my podcast. Let's just crack on. Clive.
Good evening, Lucci. It's an absolute privilege to be here. Thank you. Thank you for taking a punt on me. I appreciate that, mate.
You're welcome, mate. I tell you what I like to, Clive. I like to, obviously, I scan the martial arts world, especially the jiu-jitsu, okay? And people tell me, oh, have you heard of this geezer? What this geezer is doing out? This is happening. You're like a million miles away from me, so I'm like, what's this dude up to, man? Yeah, man, he's doing some good positive things. And what I like to do is go, all right then, Clive Turner, what are you up to? Come on to the show. Let's So, Clive, let's talk about your jiu-jitsu. And
cool. More than happy to. I mean, yeah,
man. It's the podcast. It's about jiu-jitsu ultimately.
You're right.
I don't normally like starting the question of, oh, let's go right back to the beginning. I find that very, very boring. I like to sort of like what's going off now. So just tell us about your academy and what the style of jiu-jitsu, etc. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, mate.
Well, the main style that we come under is Goshin Jiu-Jitsu, and you couldn't be much further. You couldn't be much more correct, Luigi. We are right down on Hastings on the south coast of England, so we are on an average weekend 2 hours away from London. So every time me and the guys get in the vans and travel up north to you guys, it takes us a day to get anywhere. So we went to the Bridlington Martial Arts Show a couple of years ago, and we travel constantly. It's one of the pluses. But yeah, everywhere is a bind to get to us. So my name appears in stuff, and my name used to appear a lot in the old days, but that's because of my instructor. I was Uki for a gentleman called Hanshi Joe Biggs. And I've been learning from him for the last 25 years until he passed, unfortunately, 2020. And because of that, I was there. I was with everybody training because I was Izuki. And he used to write for Martial Arts Illustrated and Fighters and Combats and Steve Grayson's. So he used to tag me along. And so I used to get to meet all of the legends of jiu-jitsu and martial arts itself, and any martial art and jiu-jitsu. And that was the plus of being with him, is we got an open door to everybody. So lots of people know him, and I kind of sneaked in, and so I got to train with all of the greats. So when Well Kabuto was with Morris and Clark, I got to train with them, and I got to train with Stephen and Kevin Pale. We know Stephen, Laura, and Kevin. I got to train with all these amazing great names back in the day. George Garrett, Jamie Lee Barron, Terry Hall, all of these people that are more up towards London, Bedfordshire, and heading up north, because everywhere is a bind for us. There wasn't many people down south. There's Well Kabuto in Brighton, but we kind of left Well Kabuto and wanted to do our own thing, because it's the usual politics. And so we just wanted to play with whoever we wanted to play with. So yeah, the Hastings Dojo, going back to that briefly, it tends to be mainly Goshin Jiu-Jitsu. That we're sticking with. I started off in boxing. My old man was a military boxer. He was in the army, and we got some trophies from that. So he started me hitting people, and then it was back in the 80s. So I started in 1980. So we had only had judo and karate, and I did judo until I got a yellow belt, and then realised that kind of hurt, and so then I did karate after that, and got my black belt in karate, and then life changed slightly because I'm interested in weapons as well. So I went down the whole ninjutsu route when the ninjutsu boom came out, and I got to train with Hatsumi and Ashino and some great names in ninjutsu. And then through that was how I met Hanchi Biggs, that I then started training with. And I didn't intentionally go out to learn jujitsu, but I met him, and everything that he was doing just fitted. So nobody else at the time down here was teaching anything that looked remotely similar. Didn't look anything remotely similar, and it wasn't as wasn't as enveloping as everything is now. Now, you know, it's all MMA and everybody doing everything, but back then everybody was sticking to their little lanes, and he was sticking to his lane, but then going off and interviewing someone for Martial Arts Illustrated, and going off and interviewing someone for combat. And so we were learning and we were playing. So I started to write a list the other day because my brain's not particularly good at remembering stuff, but we got to meet everybody at the time that was these huge big names, including, because I was around at the start of the British Combat Association. So when Jeff Thompson and Peter Constantine, we got Morris Teague, Dave Tuon.
97, 98.
Yeah, between 96 and about the millennium was when he was writing most of his articles. And so I was getting tagged along to train with everybody. We did is it the Kilise fighting methods with Buster Reeves and Phil Norman and all of these people that were, before they'd kind of made their own niches. We got to train with all these great guys, and it was brilliant. It was so welcoming and opening, and that's what I tried to do with this. Is I try to get people together that want to just play. There's just get in a room full of people. You know something, I don't know it. Please pass it on to me.
Everyone's a student, Clive.
Oh God, a student for life. Yeah, I might have all the fancy belts and stuff like that, but I'm a student more than the next person. And
I'll put a white belt on all day.
Yeah, there's 100%. One in my bag. Yeah.
100%.
In fact, I'll let you into a secret. I've got an assortment of colour bags, and it all depends what teacher's on what mat as to what belt I wear, if they can get away with it. So, because I might want to train with the guy that's teaching the white belts only. So
exactly
like that.
So everyone met Ziggy, my Neapolitan Mastiff, earlier, which he likes to jump on the podcast now and again. Okay, so bear with me. He's just gone back. He's just gone to his bed now, having his nap. So he shouldn't. He just wants to pop in and say hello. So
my boy's downstairs, looked in his cage.
I want to just touch on Joe. It was a very sad passing.
Thank you.
Brilliant martial artist, fantastic. He was one for me on a personal level. It was one. I spoke to him a lot through social media.
Yeah.
He always. For me, he'll just randomly message me.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Just out of the blue. Yeah, stupid o'clock.
Yep.
And he would just talk jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And he would just talk, and we'll just have a general chat, and that's how I'll remember Joe. Definitely 100%.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things. If you speak to people about him, once he was in your life, every so often he'd just appear again in your life and do something. And I was lucky. I'd say I got to be he got to practice, he got to learn everything on me, and then he went off and videoed doing it all on Maynard, which is wonderful. But I was a distance apart from him, so I was about 3-hour drive from him. So I'd drive up every month and train with him, and then come back home. So I got a break from the chaos. So that, because if you're living in it 24/7, he was a paramedic as well. So with the training and that, was always working. So to him, it wasn't unusual to call us at 3 o'clock in the morning and go, Clive, I was just thinking about Cote Gage.
I'll wake up in the morning and there he is. A big, it'll not just hi, you're right. It's a big, huge paragraph, massive paragraph. And he'll talk, about jiu-jitsu, and he'll talk about right. Tommy, we had a conversation just about Robert Clark, bang about Bob and other about the WJJF, because he knew I was an old WJJF boy, and and Soki Morris come up come up quite a lot, and all
I miss the conversations because
yeah,
we knew a lot of the same people, and I was lucky I got to sneak in and train with all these people.
yeah. He was very low
And then
key as well, wasn't he, Clive? He was very low
incredibly,
key. Yeah,
he'd always be the one standing at the back in his jumper just watching,
100%.
and
100.
then he'd come away and say stuff to me. Yeah, but without wishing to praise him too much, I think he was ahead of his time now, because here we were doing NLP with him. He introduced me to Richard Bandler and Paul McKenna, and we went off doing the other side of martial arts, the fixing stuff, but also the mental side of it, and training to music and things like that. Stuff that's become the norm now. But 30 years ago, we were looked at as weirdos for turning up and lifting up the boot of a car and playing the Prodigy out really loud when we went to train.
That generation of instructors, I think, were light years ahead anyway.
Yeah.
Compared to that. Now, I don't know if it's because that generation was just outstanding, or each generation is getting worse and worse. It might be a touch of each generation getting worse and worse, purely because when we took black belt, we trained for black belt. It was tough. We had a proper grading. We got slapped about. We got hammered.
Yeah, my black belt. Yeah, my black belt for
face now. You can't do, and I think, our generation, martial arts wasn't seen as a business either.
It was, yeah. Well, that was something he always instilled in me as well, is that you've got to have your passion for it. So none of us are going to make money from it, and all the politics that go along with martial arts. We're not stealing money from each other's children or anything like that. There isn't enough of that money to go around. We've got to have a passion, and we've got to give this passion to other people. So
nothing wrong with making money from martial arts, but as long as you do it correctly, and as long as the passion has got to be there first.
Got to have that. Otherwise, you're just churning it out like everybody. That is your job. So
I like Eddie Quinn's saying. I don't know if you know Eddie Quinn. Teach from the heart or don't teach at all.
Totally.
Teach from the heart or don't teach at all. Exactly right. Exactly that.
Yeah,
I run a nice little club in Nottingham, in a nice small academy. I could get 400 students next month, no problem. I've got the marketing experience. Not got the time. I'm happy with my little crowd. I'm happy with my gang. You know what I mean?
And 100% of your passion, if it was spread that thin, they wouldn't get that thing. And I like when I've trained with anybody, even, I turn up at these big events and I'm playing with someone on the mats that I don't know and they don't know me. I want them to go away at the end of the day and go, that little fella with the tattoos and the long hair, I had a great laugh when I was training with him. And that's what I want. So Hanty Joe was very, very quiet, calm and relaxed, and was like, yeah, Clive, okay. Whereas I'm a bit more of a Jack Russell. I'm 200 mile an hour and insane. So I spend all my time trying to calm it down. Oh, definitely. So I try and calm it down.
Clive, let's go right back to the beginning. How did you get into the martial arts and why? I know you touched my old man. Let's go right to the beginning. Let's
back to the start. Yeah, well, my old man was a boxer in the army in the 3 Queens Regiment. He was a regimental champion, and we got some trophies at home. So he taught me to box, and then we did the judo, and then we did the karate. Now, through the karate, I learned. I got my first black belt with John Wilson and Bernard Cretan, who are 2 local legends down this neck of the woods for Jiu-Jitsu Kai Karate. And that was back in '89. And then I went off to learn both styles of ninjutsu. I started off with the Bujinkan and then went on to Fumaru Ninjutsu, and made some really good friends through that. So she had Nick Martin, I still train with to this day, and Richard Gillis, and Dave Clark, I still train with them every so often to this day because of that. But my life was different back then. I used to live on a motorbike at 200 miles an hour. And although I did a little bit of helping out at security, I was on the other side of the barrier, being a little bit naughty. And so I saw that I needed to learn different things to what I was doing. So that's when, jiu-jitsu cropped up. A funny story about Hanchi. I was at one of Shihan Nick's classes, and he said, oh, you'll love this guy that's coming tonight. He's a little bit different. You'll love him. And I walked in the room, and there was this guy in the middle of the room, and he choked this lady out and put her on the floor and then woke her back up. And I went, oh, okay, that's a bit different. I went, who's that? And they went, oh, that's Shihan Joe. He was known as Baby Shihan at the time. I went, no, that's Shihan Joe. Oh, okay. Who was the lady he choked out? Oh, that's his wife. Okay, right. Yeah, I'm going to have to become friends with this guy because he's a little bit scary, obviously. And then, I stuck with him for 25 years until he passed. And I'm still in the same society. The Shinpi Izumi Dojo, we carry on. And I also do train with other martial artists. One of Hanshi's instructors, Jamie Lee Barron, I still meet up with them. I also am a Filipino martial artist as well as a Japanese martial artist.
Yeah.
But that's only started just before COVID, about a year before COVID. I got into that because I like weapons, because I like these toys. I like having all these little bits that we can play with, and it adds another element to it. And
I hide mine all over the house. My wife don't like them in the house. Being married to a martial arts fanatic, it can't be cool. She loves all the, you know, when we go to events and the socializing of martial arts, but actually martial arts like no, you know.
Yeah, I get told I've got too many sticks. Apparently, I'm like one of your dogs. I've got too many sticks, but I think they have got the sharing of ideals the right way round, and we need to learn from that the same. So with some of the Japanese martial arts, because I'm looking forward to coming to the Japanese martial art with you.
I'm looking forward to having you.
That's going to be immense. Yeah, that's going to be immense. You're going to bring me and a couple of my guys up to play at that.
And Kiazen.
Kiazen, the long weekend, we'll enjoy that one. So because we all talk about politics, but we then say, oh, no, we don't want any politics, but then it always crops up. And in the Japanese world, they tend to not go to courses because other people are going to be there. Whereas in the Filipino world, if they know the guys that are going to be there that they don't like, they turn up to show how good they are. And I really like that. It's like, I might not like you, but I'm going to show you that the stuff that I know is good. And I love that attitude. I think that's a much more of a positive attitude. We can all be students and learn from that much better, I think.
100%. That's brilliant, Clive. So Clive,
yes, ma'am.
I thought we sort of you share the same passion as a lot of my peers and a lot of our, you know, couldn't help but notice you put a nice little event on, but in Hastings, out of the way, right in the corner. For me, as an event organizer, I'm not blowing my own trumpet. You see, it's very clear. You see a lot of seminars later, but clearly been inspired by Kiazen and Japanese martial arts show and UK martial art. I'm not saying copying, but definitely inspired. But what I saw with you, with your little event you had last year, right in the corner, I was like, I love this. And the reason why I loved it, it was original. It was well thought of. The concept was just awesome. And the fact it was in Hastings, out of the bloody way of everywhere.
Yeah. And they came.
You get a thumbs up from me, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You get an absolute thumbs up from me. Tell us about that, mate. Tell us about
Appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, I keep this. This is the certificates I got made up because I keep these close to my heart because this was last year was my 50th birthday. And my senior student's 50th birthday too, so Sensei Tony. And it was the 25th anniversary of me running the Hastings Dojo. So I thought I wanted to do something different.
25 years of running the Hastings Dojo.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wow,
I know I don't look 50, but I am. But thank you. Appreciate that. So we're not the biggest class, but we're the consistent. So, you know, I'll always say to people, I'll give you my encouragement. I probably haven't got the money, but I'll give you my enthusiasm and my encouragement. But last year I decided to call in some favors and message a lot of the instructors that I've learned from over the years to see if they wanted a day out at the seaside. And then the other plan was one day Japanese, one day Filipino. And as with all martial arts, it didn't work quite according to plan, and we got a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other. But everybody amazingly got on, and the thing that I came away with that I absolutely adored is that instructors have met up since and started playing, and so that's all I wanted. So
exactly what I love about Kiazen, the friendships what are being made right in front here, and
that's it.
And seeing, I like to find the hidden gems in martial arts and I'm giving them a platform.
I'll consider myself one of them. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I like just seeing progress. Probably Joe Moore is a great example.
Stunning.
Kiazen number one, he was a student. Kiazen number two, do you mind? Yes, Tommy, you should have a slot. Kiazen number three is headlining.
Yeah.
Kiazen number four is headlining. number 5 is headlining.
Good, he deserves to.
He's headlining.
Man's good. Yeah, the man's good.
All over. He's everywhere. All over the country. Headlining.
And little ginger hairs everywhere. But now the man was amazing. And what made the course for me is I put it on. I coughed up the cash and did all the paperwork and all of that. But when all the instructors turned up, they got on. It wasn't that I'm going to stay over there and stay over there. They all got on. And then I gave them my suggestion as to what I wanted to do. And they said, oh, can we tweak that and change that and do that? And like Tommy, for instance, had a fight that evening. And so all the other instructors said, well, in that case, put him on first so that he's got time to get a rest and then he can shoot off. Yeah. So the usual Japanese thing of the highest grade going on first went completely out the window straight away. And he came on, did his bit. Everybody loved him and everybody thought that was it. One of the gems for me that I'd not got to train with before was Kyle Burks. He amazingly got me this signed before unfortunate passings. And he was an absolute gem. Really loved the fella. So
he's been on here, Kyle. He's a good lad. I've
tried to meet up since.
Well, he's been on my mat before. It's Stoke, is it?
There's a certain style. We are jiu-jitsu after all. Yeah. And we were talking about it earlier. I think the previous generation were real hard hitters. So we're going back to Kevin O'Hagan and people like that. There was no messing about. People were getting hurt. Ken Colshaw, and Jimmy Pope, of course. You know, the guys that were doing it then were working really hard.
Them guys, Jimmy Pat, Ken Colshaw. They trained in the cellars.
Yeah.
Kenneth Colshaw will tell you what he said to me on one of my podcasts. I've known them guys since I was a little boy. Honestly, since I was a tiny boy, like 9, 10 years old, I've known them guys. And the train, there was like one room with zero mats in that room.
Yeah.
Great Ford, concrete floor. It's still there today. I need to go and visit. I need to go. Wayne Blundell's. I need to arrange it with him to go to.
That'd be amazing.
A tour.
Yeah. So, they worked so hard and they trained so hard, and then when they brought us on and Hanchi, and people like that were teaching us, we then had to work hard, but they tried to give us less injuries than they'd got. They'd learned slightly alternative ways to do it, and then now we try and get our guys to work hard and make them less broken than ourselves, because we all get together and we're all standing there, and until we've had a couple of pints of body loosener, we're all completely sore and popping pills and stuff like that. So each of us are trying to train as hard as we physically can whilst not cause injuries to our students moving forward. So I think we have to be careful when it comes to the black belt gradings, like we were saying earlier, that we still got to make it hard, but we can't. We don't want to put them in hospital, but they've got to know they've earned it. They've got to know that they've actually killed themselves. If they can stand up at the end, then they've done something wrong. They've got to be exhausted at the end of it. And I definitely think there's a weird thing about us being in the 50s, 60s age-year-old category now. Because when I turn up with the fancy belts and of my age at martial arts events, I still think I'm a white belt at the wrong end of the line. And so when people come up to me and they ask me advice and want to talk to me, it throws me, because no, you don't want to speak to me. You want to go and speak to that chap over there. But we've kind of got the legends are still there from back in the day. Exactly, we've got to give them credit. But
definitely. I don't want to take much time, so I want to do 2 parts with everybody.
Oh, cool.
But going back to old Tommy, he's a great example, and his bar titsu. I'm going to get him back on here to recap bar titsu. At the Festival of Martial Arts, I tried to get him to do a midnight seminar, but we didn't. So the idea was that he'll get all his World War II stuff on and just go out and just wake everybody up and just do a midnight seminar. Bless him. So
he did a great bit.
Again, like Festival of Martial Arts, he was headlining that as well. So a question I like to ask everybody before I get rid of them.
Yes.
And before we they can talk about you, your ideal seminar. Okay, so you've got 5 instructors for your ideal seminar. Who have we got? And it's one of them questions like dead or alive.
The dead. Interested. Yeah, the dead means that we always end up with the same people.
Yeah,
because Soap Morris and Soap Clark, of course, would be daft not to have them.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I trained with them back in a Welkabudo event back in Brighton,
Probably.
But yeah, but it's, brain's a little bit addled. I never got the chance to train with Sheehan Billy Doak.
Right.
And I love watching his stuff. Nowadays, if I did it, I'd be in hospital afterwards. But I love watching him train. And when I was a bit younger, that would have been my ideal sort of Goshin Jiu-Jitsu. Absolutely smashing people to oblivion. Hanshi Brian Dossett. I'd like to have trained with him. He trained, he trained Hanshi Biggs. And gave him his black belt, and I'd love to have trained with him just to be able to see the comparisons, to see if maybe he could spot that I was doing some things the same as Hanshi or not. There's some new people coming up that I like a lot. Adam Saunders, I think, is still a sensei. So sorry, Adam, if I get this wrong. And Roger Knowles. And they're two people that I come across quite a lot with every year we go down to Glastonbury, and they keep coming back. And Adam finds new ways to hurt me. And Roger really reminds me how great it is to be a martial artist, because he's so enthusiastic and pushes me more than quite a lot of instructors push me. It's like, it doesn't matter, Clive, come on, let's just go and throw each other about.
Let's get him on
stuff. And and so those are the people.
Let's get you on here. Let's have a chat.
And if I can add anybody on, Hanshi Biggs would have been sitting on the sofa drinking coffee at the back of the room. And I would love him to be sitting there with Jeff Thompson. Because I think the way Jeff is now, where he's all enlightened and different now, I think they would have some amazing conversations, and I'd love to be video what they would get up to. I'm not sure what they would do to me the following week, but I'd love to hear the conversations that they'd be having between each other.
That's fantastic. Clive, how can people get hold of you?
Well, the easiest way, carrier pigeon. The easiest way is the Hastings Dojo. We're on social media, but it's only tends to be Facebook and YouTube. I'm not really smart enough to do the Instagrammies and all the other bits yet, the tweeting and stuff. But Facebook and YouTube, and leave me a message or contact me through you or anyone. Come and see me at the Japanese martial arts event.
100%. So Clive will be on the mat doing his thing. I'll be looking forward to that. I will absolutely run it. And the UK Jiu-Jitsu gathering. So
that's going to be a fun event.
So do you know, is this year for you? Am I right? What am I right in saying that is to just get out there and be a student, make as many contacts and network as possible?
Last year I was being an instructor. Last year I was being an instructor. It was my year to help to repay stuff back to other people. And so this year it's my year to be a student again. So to get out there and train with as many people as will put up with me.
Make as many contacts as possible. That's why these events, that's why we do these events, mate. Honestly.
That's it.
I do it because
you come back with a phone full of numbers, you've done right.
Yeah, exactly. I love seeing it on my events. Just you go as a stranger and you come out with loads of, like you said, loads of contacts. 2023 saw I was involved in two massive events: FOMA, Festival of Martial Arts, and obviously Kiazen. And the friendship was unbelievable. Which the contacts and the old it was just super.
The social media thing has gone weird now because we think we know each other. And we've probably never even spoken, or if we have, it's only been a little bit. So, but that's helped to break down the barriers, so that now we can walk up to yourself and go, "Oh, do you want a pint?" Whereas before it'd be going, "Oh, can I go and speak to him?" So,
But Clive, thanks for coming on.
My
We're going to
pleasure.
do this again just before, obviously, the events. I just want to. This is the Road to the Japanese Martial Arts Show podcast. If you like, so I'm going to introduce many instructors and or leading up to, and then. The plan is to get you like 3 or 4 of you at the same time.
That'd be good.
That's the plan. So, Clive, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Really appreciate you coming on, and we'll 100% catch up soon. Clive Turner from the Hastings Dojo, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, thank you. Please share, invite your friends, and look out for our forthcoming events. All right, it's Lucci Del-Gaudio. It's all jiu-jitsu. Us.